Hey guys, it's Sean Klinger with Vital MX. Today we're looking at the 2022 Honda CRF250RX. So, looking at this bike compared to last year's model, pretty much all new. This bike gets everything that the new R got in 2021. So that's the new engine, the new frame, the single side exhaust, and then obviously a new bodywork, new layout, the whole cockpit, everything is changed. And so that was really cool that it got transferred over to the RX model. So then looking at what makes the RX model different than the R. So the R obviously is the motorbike, RX cross country. Cross country, no lights, still no lights. It's also not kind of like a trail bike, it's more of an off-road racer. So in that regard, the engine is pretty much identical to the R as far as the physical architecture. The exhaust is exactly the same. The ECU settings are dedicated to this off-road model. So they're trying to work on the power delivery, and they're going to kind of mellow things out so it's not so abrupt, so you can use it more for off-road. Then for the suspension, compared to the R, the front spring rate is dropped 1, and then the rear is actually dropped 2. To match those spring rates, there's different settings for this bike that's a little bit more comfortable for off-road riding. Then there's a 2.1 gallon tank. You've got a kickstand that tucks away nice and easily. Other than that, that's kind of the only differences out for this bike compared to the R to the RX. Riding it today at the trails, we are in Kauai. We're the trails in the back here. We've ridden here many times, and so this terrain out here is pretty dry, pretty dusty, kind of a mix of slow speed and high speed. Nothing too ledgy, extreme enduro, but overall, it's kind of a great place to ride this bike. The flowy, faster paced trails, that's where this bike really shines. I noticed a major difference between this model and some of the other off-road Austrian bikes that are in this class is how firm the suspension is in a good way. It is not harsh, it is not deflecty, but the main thing is when I hop on it, there's a ton of holdup. And like some of the other bikes, when they want to get that comfort, when you're on-off throttle, when you're changing directions, you really get a pitchiness, and that pitchiness just kind of upsets the whole chassis. The front end gets light when you're hard on the gas, and that can be really annoying, and you just can't ride fast when you're feeling wallowy and moving around. This bike, even though it's a lighter suspension setting, they nailed it with that. There is almost zero pitchiness. I don't notice anything. Like, as soon as I get hard on the gas, it just drives forward. I don't have that bouncy, wallowy feel. The R model, obviously, everyone said how light and nimble and flickable that bike is. Coming to the RX, you know, we could be worried about a bigger tank, making it feel heavy, making it feel bulky. It doesn't. Like, I've ridden some of the RXs last year and the 450, and maybe it's a visual thing, maybe it's not, it just feels top heavy. This bike, I don't notice that weight, which is really surprising because, like I said, 2.1 gallon gas tank up from the moto version, so it doesn't make the bike feel any wider. The nimbleness is still there. Handling wise, it's really flickable. Rider input is very intuitive. It's very natural to ride. I would say the only kind of cons for this bike is that it keeps the moto transmission and the transmission ratios. So if you wanted to go cross country to like extreme enduro or really technical riding, you're gonna struggle a little bit. The power delivery is good, it's mellowed out, but it's not super linear. Like, it's still kind of aggressive, and the transmission with first gear being kind of taller like the motorbike, it'll flame out, or you might stall it a little bit more. It's just harder to kind of like really modulate that first gear tractable technical riding. Other than that, once it starts to flow, I absolutely love this bike. I mean, it flows really well. It's really easy to flick back and forth. High speed stability, surprisingly fantastic. And then the power characteristic compared to the R model, it's less aggressive, but it's more torquey. So it's the hit is kind of just kind of shaved off. It's a little bit smoother. It's instead of a shot, it's more of a hurrah power, and then but there's more grunt down low. So you can really use the bottom end into the mid-range. You don't have to scream it. It just has a meaty, torquey power that works well for everything. So overall, I'm just really pumped on this bike. I think for an off-road racer, it's awesome. For someone that wants to ride the track too, it's definitely firm enough for that. You're not giving up really much for that. I would say the person that wants to ride super tight technical stuff, there's other bikes out there that would fit that bill a little bit easier. So thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, click like and subscribe. If you're on vitalmx.com, check out our YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.